Yeah. I suppose, do you make like a deal with your class? Like, okay, nobody get hurt.
Right, yeah.
And then we'll...
I think every
burn down the
teacher's doing
kitchen.
that right now. Like, love the nerd. Welcome to the podcast, North Wright County Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Schomer, former Ink-stained wretch, writer, man about town extraordinaire.
There you go.
But way down on the end, my co-host, Nick Schultz, joins
Hola.
me every week, and we are kicking the show off today with Matt Harrison,
Oh, hi.
Yes.
a man who has made his living in fun and games.
Yes.
That's what I try to do, yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Doing
Of course,
great.
I've known both of you for quite a long time from the
Yes.
soccer world.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, everybody's going to tune in again and be like, soccer, more soccer. These
Yeah.
guys, are you kidding? Because we had Josh Ligon to talk about
Okay.
Yeah.
STMA Food Pantry by Rivera Bank, and we've talked soccer a few times.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get the two of us.
City Administrator Steve Bott was
Steve
on.
Bott,
Oh,
was
wow.
on.
Of course,
and a little
Derek's
bit
dad.
A little bit of
Yeah.
soccer there.
Yeah.
So, and Matt
So
Harrison.
you guys
of
are
course.
really hitting your list of soccer-related people, and then
Yes.
you're going to run out of guests.
I'm running out.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they say talk about what you know.
Right. I've got like Tomas and Pat Pringle, and then I'm out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anyway, well, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Yes.
North Wright County Today, of course, has been around a long time, and you've been a friend and supported what we do. And
Oh, back even when it was the patch back then.
back
Yes.
when it was the patch.
Yeah,
yes,
OG.
Exactly.
OG.
So, I actually met your wife first, I think.
That's usually a good plan. I mean, I would rather meet Melissa first.
Yeah.
So she kind of comes from the same world I do with the PR and the marketing and things like that. But then, of course, as you said, we met through soccer, and you are just kind of the town's fantasy guru. And I saw it with
Fantasy sports, that
fantasy
is.
sports
Fantasy
guru.
sports.
Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks
okay.
Nick. This is
Clear.
why we have Nick
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
Just
Nick.
clarifying. That's good color commentary.
It's not fantasy gifts or anything like that.
No.
But also Super Bowl and things like that. And we'll talk about some of the other things that you've been involved in. But one of the reasons I wanted to have you come on is our town, of course, has a lot of Vikings fans.
Sure.
And right around the corner, we're looking at it a week away. A week from today is
Yes.
the NFL draft. So I
Yeah,
thought we
it's
could talk
sneaking
a
up.
little bit about that, and we could talk a little bit about what you do, and so kind of fill people in what you do. Like,
Yeah, my day job is I work for a company called Sports Hub Games Network. If you are a fantasy football player or anything like that, you've probably paid for a league on LeagueSafe.
Right.
And I've been with that company basically since its inception when Paul Charchian created LeagueSafe. And I've been the operations manager at Sports Hub for, gosh, a long time now, and been running LeagueSafe for quite a while. LeagueSafe has grown by leaps and bounds, as you can imagine. When COVID hit,
Yeah.
people weren't exchanging hand-to-hand cash anymore, and they started using our app, and it's great. If you're unfamiliar, LeagueSafe is like PayPal for fantasy leagues.
Right.
Okay.
So, and we own 5 or 6 other fantasy sports companies as well, and I have my hand dabbling in a few of those. And then the more exciting thing is I've been doing the KFAN's Fantasy Football Weekly radio show for, I think it's my 14th year now.
that's crazy.
So,
That's cool.
yeah, I think I'm getting close to the longest co-host with Charch ever. If I'm not already, I'm pretty dang close. So.
Yeah.
But we've been broadcasting that show Saturdays on KFAN for 31 years now. So,
That's crazy.
Wow.
and yeah, so it's been an absolute blast of a ride there. And I'm actually going to go do an off-season podcast to talk a little bit of draft with Charch tomorrow afternoon.
Ooh,
So,
we got you first. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
and I want to be completely honest. I'm not the draft expert on the show.
Right.
We actually have a guy, Thor Nystrom. His job is solely the NFL draft, and that's what he does 365 days a year. He watches every college football game. He grinds all the tape. If you want to hear great draft coverage, go grab the last couple podcasts of Fantasy Football Weekly. You're going to find great stuff from Thor because he's been on for like a month and a half solid.
Thor is also an excellent, as are you, social media follow.
Sure,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
He's
Much bigger follow than me, but Thor's done a good job. So I usually don't pick up draft stuff until after they're drafted.
Okay.
Because that's when I get to dig in on the fantasy side.
Okay.
right. Well, cool. I mean, how did you kind of end up in that field? I mean, it's kind of a dream come true for any rube to get paid to do it.
Well, I was just finishing my college degree at Augsburg College. I finished a little bit later than most. I was early to mid-20s. We were living in Albertville, just over kind of by Casey's over there. And at the time, Willie McCoy's was Spectators back then.
I remember that.
And they were doing a live broadcast of KFAN's Sludge and Lake show at Spectators.
Okay.
And Charch was going to be the guest on the show.
So Corey Cove and Henry Lake,
Yep.
both of KFAN.
Yep.
Henry now.
I think Henry's with CCO, yeah. But so I went over there and I cornered Paul Charchian and I said, "Give me a job."
That is the way to do it. That is awesome.
And he said, "I don't have a job for you, but you could call this guy and he might have a job for you." So I called Bo Mitchell, who was a member of the Fantasy Football Weekly show. And back in the day, he was the managing editor at Fanball.
Okay.
And I asked him, "Hey, you got a job? I'll work for free. I don't care." And he said, "I don't have a job for you." Okay. Keep me in mind when you do.
Yeah.
And a couple months later, he gave me a call and said, "Hey, you want to come in and clean crock pots and write news blurbs and work for free?" And I was like, "Sure." So I would go into the Fanball offices, and this is back, it was mid-2000s. So the internet hadn't quite taken over fantasy football and the media yet. So I was literally, my job was to call NFL stadiums every Sunday and ask them for the inactive players.
Okay.
And they'd rattle off New York 8, 4, 17, 18, 32, 86, and then I'd have to go through the roster and go,
"Who is that?"
"Oh shoot, Kerry Collins is inactive today." And then I'd yell that over to the other room, and they'd write blurbs really quick, and it would go up on CBS Sportsline and all the other things.
Right.
And then about, let's see, it was about 12 or 13 weeks into my job there. Another company bought the company and decided to shut down the Minneapolis office and fire us all. So that just using my networking and knowing who I know, I just said, "Hey, I'd like to write. I'd like to do whatever I can to kind of stay in this business." And I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of kids listening. This is the kid demographic here. But if you want a job like that, you work for free, you work really hard, you keep asking for what you want to do, and you just continue moving down the path of networking and that kind of thing. And you can kind of do a lot of things just by doing that.
Yeah.
So
You heard it here, kids. Manifest.
yeah,
Manifest.
make it happen.
I mean, I don't know about you, but my fantasy sports relationship goes back to checking the paper Monday and writing down the stats and like doing the math from there.
Yeah, I used to run a fantasy league from my locker at Minnetonka High School, and would go down to the library and look at USA Today and use graph paper and get all the scores down. And people had to come to my locker to announce trades or make pickups and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
The commissioner's locker.
Yeah, you had to come to my locker to do it. So
I was on the 5th floor at Nelson Hall at then Moorhead State University, and my best friend was the commissioner, eventual roommate, and I got the first pick of the draft that year, my first year of college, and I took Thurman Thomas. So that tells you where we're at.
There you go. That's a pretty good pick. Probably worked out. I've kind of like longed for the days, and I know that there's some leagues that used to do at the beginning of the year, you'd meet up for your draft, and then you'd have to come with 16 self-addressed stamped envelopes to hand to the commish, because the commish would send you out the weekly report every week, and you'd just print off 12 copies and then put it in the mail, and you'd get it on Wednesday or something like that. I kind of long for a league like that, where it was just like, I'm not looking at live scoring. Like let's just go back to the.
Can sit back on Sunday and just watch the game.
Yeah, that's great.
Like I'll have the stats tomorrow. It's fine. I can enjoy what's in front of me now. You mentioned that it's changed. I think any NFL season you could play any number amount of fantasy games from. Your guillotine leagues to, and I don't want to make this a fantasy podcast because you have that already, but, I just think it's interesting how things have evolved, how things have changed, and how it's so engaging now to the point where people care more almost about their own game, their own matchup that week than maybe their favorite team.
Yeah, fantasy has absolutely exploded, and I mean, I've done a good job in the last couple of years not checking my fantasy lineups during the games. I also have 4 kids, and they have activities, and I don't get to watch as many football games as people might think, because I'm at hockey or dance competitions or whatever. But I've done a good job of just being like, I don't want to be stuck to my second screen while I'm watching a Viking game. I want to engage in that kind of thing. So
I think that's a good philosophy. We'll transition a little bit. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was some of the other things that you've been involved in. You've coached soccer, obviously, both club and assistant coach at the high school. Yeah, that's kept you busy, but. I think one of the fun memories for everybody, and I always hear Dark Star in the back of my mind go, down memory lane we go. The Friendly City Kickball League.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which, was huge there for a while, and then too many people got injured or COVID happened.
I was telling Mike that I pulled a hamstring moonwalking across home plate after somebody missed a throw.
He pulled the Tony Finau. Yeah. Injured himself celebrating.
I actually tore a hamstring rounding third on a home run, and started just like, oh my God, my leg is torn. And the guy double clutched. He was going to throw the ball at me, but he didn't throw because he thought I was faking it.
He had pity.
And I ended up scoring and going right to the bench and going, ice pack, ice pack. Yeah. But Friendly City Kickball was a blast. I mean, like you, when you started North Wright County today, it gets you in contact with a lot of people around the community. Yeah. And I was really surprised about how many different people in not only St. Michael and Albertville, but people come in from Elk River and Otsego and Monticello. I got to know a lot of different people around the community, and that was one of the most fun aspects of it. It was every Tuesday night I got to hang out with 80 friends, and that was a pretty cool opportunity for me. Unfortunately, I think it mostly was kind of the war of attrition on. Everybody in that league was all kind of hitting teenage sports
all
at the same time. At the exact same time. So we had a younger group that was like in their 20s and had little baby kids, and then all the rest of us were mid to late 30s and early 40s, and all of our kids were hitting activities at the same time. And people just were like, the last couple of years, it was like, I got a kid's baseball game. I'm trying to find subs to cover for me. And it just made it more difficult to do. But pseudo breaking news, I guess.
Yes. We're going to, exclusive. North Wright County Today podcast exclusive.
We're going to come back with a kickball tournament tentatively scheduled for Saturday, July 12th. And that will be a charitable tournament to support the boys' high school soccer boosters.
Yes.
Which is, Nick right here. It's supporting Nick.
Mr. Treasurer.
Yes.
Well, and you.
And me.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean, but there's significant costs to running a high school program, and
sure.
and we want to make sure that the parents don't front all of that bill,
Right.
and that's why we do different, selling those cards door to door and different fundraising activities, but. Sometimes we got to pay for some additional coaching staff and that kind of thing. And it's a good opportunity for people to be involved in the community, have some fun on a Saturday afternoon, and just go just have a blast out there and pretend you're a kid. Or for a lot of I'm guessing we're going to have a lot of high school kids coming out and play.
Right.
See if we can beat those high school kids
Right.
by playing some smart kickball.
Well, one, either count me in, or two, I would love to be an umpire. So if you're looking for umpires, I'm planning on reffing a lot this fall. My kid's out of the system now.
Yeah.
Played 4 years of junior varsity all-star. But we will.
Maybe North Wright County today wants to get a couple of cameras out there and broadcast the championship.
I think they will absolutely do that. We're going to talk about this later in the episode, but we are talking about doing our first live podcast ever.
No.
And can't wait to kind of talk about that. But yeah, that'd be fun to do some stuff with you too.
Yeah. So you said July 12th?
That's what we're looking at right now.
Okay, so start stretching now.
Yeah, get your hamstrings ready.
Get those hamstrings.
Do some sprints, because the 3 miles on the treadmill is good to keep you in shape, but you got to do some stop-start stuff, because that's how you tear those hamstrings, those glutes, Achilles.
It's the violence of trying to kick a ball as hard as you can and then going into a full sprint after that.
Yeah.
That's the thing that always gets everybody. So.
Right. Yeah.
I always just bunted down third base and tried to leg it out.
That's a pretty good plan.
Just try to leg it out. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's good to hear. That's cool to hear it come back. It was a social media juggernaut there for a while. I think every Wednesday, Thursday, you'd see pictures from each team and all the recaps and your recaps, and so I think it's a fun little chapter in the history of our community and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, that was one of the fun things. I like to write those recaps. I wrote it like an article like every week about what games happened.
It was great.
It was fun.
Yeah, and as Matt mentioned, it brought in people from other communities, and one of the funniest experiences I had was seeing somebody I know through work in short jean shorts, a guy, when it was, I think it was jean short night.
Yeah, the costumes were top notch.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, we may have to. I haven't gotten into the weeds yet on how the tournament's going to work out, but I have a feeling there's going to be some prizes available for best dressed teams and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
great.
A lot of chicken jockeys out there this year, I bet. Yeah.
Minecraft movie reference, awesome.
Okay.
I'll let you talk about your kids for a little bit, because every dad wants to do that, and your kids are making waves all over. You've got a senior this year.
I do, Haley. She's my second kid, only daughter. She just is finishing up her final year of dance, which has been really emotional. We were out at Kalahari last week for a dance competition, and it was their last team competition, so that was emotional to watch. And I've been dancing with her in the daddy-daughter dance. If you want to come see me dance, my
is
final
this hip hop
performance.
Or what style?
It's I believe open style.
Yeah,
interpretive.
It's what the dads can do without injuring themselves. To kind of relate it back to kickball.
Yeah, safety dance.
Yeah, so at KMC in Albertville, they're getting ready for their final recital in May, and. So yeah, Haley's a senior. She's going off to the University of Wisconsin River Falls to do education, and really excited for her. That should be real fun. My son Jacob, he's a 10th grader at the high school, played JV hockey for the Knights this last year, and he's 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, you passed me.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, they're all passing me.
Yeah.
The other one who passed me, my college kid Tate, he's down at Iowa State.
Go Cyclones.
Yeah, there you go. He's 20 and also passed me in the height. He played some varsity soccer for the Knights back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest, Sam, he's an 8th grader right now. Actually, he's a track runner. They had their first track meet canceled today just because of the weather. But he's also a part of the middle school musical. He's a part of the robotics team. He's a part of the choir. So that's my guy who's just like, give me every activity possible.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, go for it. Like, figure it out, what you love to do. And he's having a blast doing it. So
well, that'll be cool when he transitions next year to high school, because we met with the robotics kids for Rotary. And I have this from Anne-Marie, the superintendent. I believe they just won the competition they are in and are going to nationals.
they're actually on the bus, I think, to Houston right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
we had a couple winners in my district as well, and they're on their way down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super cool. Well, awesome. And you know, Haley and Cam have been friends since I think they were probably 5th or 6th graders.
Sure.
And I know senioritis has pretty much set in. They're kind of coasting to the end here.
Well, yeah, and our kids have crossed over in so many ways. Like
many ways.
Jacob and Colin played soccer together
Right.
back in the day. Nick and I were co-coaches.
co-coaches.
We were coaches together.
For a couple of years there. So.
Yeah.
And fantastic. And of course, I can't not mention my wife, Melissa, who holds it all together and runs a successful local marketing agency, Allay Creative. It's like
Allay.
It's like put Allay like you're going to Hawaii. It's
Okay.
French.
I was never good at French.
So yeah, she's absolutely the best, and we couldn't do any of this without her. So
That's awesome.
She's pretty great.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we close, who are the Vikings going to take at 24?
They will not take anybody at 24. They will trade out.
They will move up.
They will move
think-
down. They will move out of the first round.
Move out of the first round.
Yeah.
You heard it from Matt. No need to tune in on Thursday night. You can wait till Friday.
Yeah.
They'll be in the second round. Your Thursday night next week is free.
I'll still watch. Let's be real.
I will too, because I've got a North Dakota State kid who could go in the first round.
Is it the guard?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're a long-time NDSU supporter family kind of thing, and knew the dad through Team Acres and some of my past stuff that I did up there, which is why I do this now.
Okay.
Because I did some radio stuff up there, so wanted to scratch that itch, and here we are.
So before we let you go, first 3 rounds in a fantasy draft, we going running back, edge. What are we doing?
I mean, in a fantasy draft, it always varies from year to year. You kind of have to look at how the consensus is going and that kind of thing. I tend to like to get a good tight end because I think tight end is still a position where there's difference makers, and then you're scrambling after like 4 or 5. So I tend to try to get a good tight end in the first couple of rounds. A running quarterback is a fantastic get, and a good running back. Wide receivers so deep, you can find wide receivers all over the place.
Yeah,
but
they're adding like 15 more this draft.
Yeah.
If we really wanted to talk draft,
if you're talking draft, this is going to be the best running back class
in a while,
maybe ever. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people this year, specifically in fantasy drafts when they come to August and September. I think you're going to find a lot of people going quarterback, wide receiver, tight end early, do the opposite strategy, and just taking a ton of running backs late, because there's so many good rookie ones coming in, and there's so many veteran ones, like the Derrick Henrys and the Saquon Barkleys, that they've been around for a while. They're still having a lot of success, but the cliff comes quickly for the running back position, and all of a sudden they're done.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be like, I got to get those big running backs. But I think the smart money's on taking a whole bunch of them late.
All right.
Yep. Is Christian McCaffrey done?
No, he's not done. He still plays for the 49ers.
He's still got a
As a
locker.
fantasy-
He has a locker.
As a fantasy number one running back.
He'll never get back to the 101, I don't think. No, he's probably still going to be a mid to late first round pick this year, though.
Okay.
So,
You heard it here first, kids.
Oh,
There you go. Nick took us into a fantasy football podcast, but that's okay. That's his wheelhouse.
That's what you want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, it's absolutely. So, well, thanks, man.
All right,
I
no
appreciate
problem.
it. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Okay.
All right. Kick off with our ad reads here today, and we're going to kick it off with Stellus Health. You can dive into the world of Stellus Health with their own podcast, which is called Beyond the Checkup. From the latest medical innovations to everyday inventions to everyday health tips, you'll enjoy insightful conversations that go beyond the routine checkup. The team of healthcare providers at Stellus Health unpack a wide range of topics, including midwifery care, mental health, arthritis, foot care, and more. Tune in and transform the way you think about your health at stellushealth.com/podcast, your go-to podcast for fresh, expert perspectives on health and medicine. Clinics in Buffalo and Monticello, right next to the hospitals, same-day appointments, urgent care too. Stellus Health, neighbors caring for neighbors. Hey, what's shaking at the bank? Deerwood Bank, longtime
yes.
sponsor of North Wright County
That's
Today
right.
and the podcast.
We had a really neat week. On Friday last week, I found out that we landed at number 8 on the fastest growing banks in Minnesota, per the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal.
Yeah,
And so I'm super proud of that and the role that the St. Michael and Ogama locations played in that, having been acquired last year. And then after that, we found out that we've been nominated also in the Business Journal for best workplaces, best places
Yeah.
to work.
That says a lot.
Yeah, super fun week in that regard, getting some recognition. And then
do we get to go vote on that, or?
so this is something where we as employees answer questions and write a small essay about why we think it is that way, if we do feel that way.
Okay.
So I kept my essay to 2 pages, just,
Sorry.
yeah.
And you had Colin write it, right?
He would have used ChatGPT.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
ChatGPT.
Yeah. And then on a personal side, I am celebrating 15 years at the bank this week.
That's
So
awesome.
after we are done, we're recording this on Thursday. After we're done, I'm going back to the bank for lunch where they will have El Bamba waiting for
Ooh,
me. Yes.
there you go.
Yes, the Bamba
All right.
burrito with chicken. For those that don't know, it's a burrito roughly the size of a grown man's shoe
It is.
with all the good stuff in it, and then it is drenched in queso. So
Absolutely.
if you need me later today, I will be sleeping under my desk.
That's awesome. So we'll keep the rest of the podcast short so Nick can go have his lunch. All right, what's shaking, Selfie Company?
We're doing great.
T-minus 2 weeks.
T-minus 2 weeks. Yeah, it's crazy. No, but so prom, actually, there's some proms this weekend or next weekend after, what weekend is it? Next weekend.
We got a
have
holiday
Easter
this weekend. So.
Yeah.
Next
Yes.
weekend starts prom, so we'll actually be at 2 proms again next weekend, so it's kind of crazy.
Oh,
You
wow.
gonna be up in Zimmerman or where?
No, we are at Cold Spring
Okay.
and somewhere, and then Rush Creek. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have prom special here. So 2 guests for $35, parents get in free, or you can rent the whole space for $199 for your
Nice.
group.
For your group, yeah.
On May 3rd, we have a DJ coming in and Dunn Brothers with Dirty Soda. So it'll be a good time.
Nice.
Yeah,
The dirty sodas are good.
the Dirty Sodas. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's
Who
good.
knew?
I have not.
It's like
Partaken.
it's almost like a cold brew, but it's got a little bit of fizz to it and stuff.
Okay.
It's like, so they take like soda, like your base, right? And then they add like flavoring to it and add cream to it and
Yeah.
other things.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The
Nice.
teens love it. The place in Maple Grove was crushing it. So,
Oh yeah.
well, they went viral. Yeah, they're huge. It's a line all the time.
Oh,
Their
wow.
space is probably as big as this, and there's like
Oh.
probably 30 kids waiting at all times every time we go there.
Oh.
Coming
Yeah.
soon, Selfie Company and Dirty Soda.
No, one adventure at a time.
Sam's dirty sodas.
Oh, Lord Almighty. So
All
many
right.
ways we could go with that.
Hey, one of the things Matt did not talk about, his daughter Haley is very involved in the Estimate Theater over at the high school. And next weekend is their final production of the season, Three Musketeers. You can go on their website and check that out. It's a pretty big cast. It's a 3-act play, so it's their drama for the season, and it's a really they do a fantastic.
They do
job,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a great job over there.
And such a nice facility to
It
have
is.
that.
Yeah, we're very
Performing
lucky to
Arts
have
Center.
the Performing Arts Center. It's really cool, and they do a good. I mean, just it's such a robust production. I overuse that word, but it really is. I'm in education, so robust is one of those buzzwords, but it really is. I mean, from set design to blocking and staging and cues and things like that. You use all of your education in that activity, and it's pretty cool. So go support the kids, support the arts. Speaking of the arts, shout out to Mr. Osowski, who I want to have on the show here soon. They just concluded their kind of spring tour, choir concert tour, and they got to go to some really fantastic places. So check them out on social media. They were down at St. Olaf. They did some stuff downtown in the Basilica.
Yeah.
Some amazing places to perform,
Yes.
and they do, again, fantastic job.
Such a good job.
Yeah. So check that out on social media.
Osowski also one of the repeat favorite teachers every teacher night for pretty much any sport.
Any sport, yeah. You can tell by who shows up those nights who the kids over there really love.
Yeah.
Also a North Dakota State graduate, so
Hey.
we'll throw that out there.
I think he really enjoys his job. You can tell when
Yes.
he's performing and up
Yeah.
there and on stage with the kids that he does enjoy what he does.
I mean, and it's fun to watch those. We had a bit of an experience with the Northwest Suburban Conference. Came to Rogers for their concert choir. Basically, it's competition, but it's also a chance to do like an intensive, so the kids who are really into choir get some instruction from some of our local experts. And a lot of the private colleges, Augsburg, St. Thomas, St. John's, aforementioned St. Olaf, have outstanding, musical departments as far as choir, band performance. The choir instructor from, I'm going to say the wrong, I believe he was from Augsburg, but I'd have to go back and check, was the guest teacher at Rogers for just to watch a person who loves what they do and just like, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da, and they're like, the kids are like, yes! At first they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then they're like, yeah. This, I can get into this, and that's Mr. O to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is at ease in front of his choir, getting into it just as much as they do, and that's a reciprocal thing. And so to have good teachers.
Have you
like
seen their
that.
spring show? It's
I
so
have
much
not,
fun.
but
They do like a pop culture spring show, and it is
cool.
so much fun to
Yeah,
watch.
I do. I did look at the date for that. That is the last Monday in May.
It's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Monday after. No, pardon me. It's the Monday prior to
Memorial.
Okay.
So check that out because that's a big night. Get there early. That's a big night of performance. So stuff like that. Shout out to the St. Michael Catholic School. They've got big bits for kids coming up on the 26th. That is 5:00 sharp. Denim and Diamonds, I think, is what it's called.
Yep, that is the theme this year.
Yeah, and that is, where is that at? You gotta look that up. I shared it on North Wright County Today Facebook page, so hop on social
They do it
media.
at the
to
school?
It's
check
been a
out
while
the
since we
location.
made our bank donation, so I
I
don't
have
recall
not.
where it is.
I believe it's at City Hall,
Yeah.
St. Michael City
Yeah.
Hall. I want to say that's where the all-night grad party was. So I want to fundraiser. So I want to say that's where it is. I will correct myself if I'm wrong. So, and then next week I'm going to give you guys the week off.
Hey.
So hey. I did a Zoom call with a student named Elena Lee Wagner. She's homeschooled.
Okay.
But some of you might know Elena from SOAR. And SOARs are, one of our local kid theater production activities. We're going to support the arts because Elena has graduated from SOAR and is now doing Frozen at the Children's Theater.
Oh, very
cool.
And she is part of the cast down there. So I sat and talked to her for about 20 minutes. And so we'll post that Zoom, and that'll be our podcast next week. I might have
Awesome.
a couple other things to pop in there. But yeah, it was cool catching up with her. We talked about some of the shows that she's done, all the way back to Little Mermaid and Lion King, and some of the shows that my daughter was involved in for the 3 years she did SOAR. But Elena's stuck to it and is now getting a shot at the big time.
That's
down
awesome.
there in
That's awesome.
Hopkins at the Children's Theater there. So that is now showing. So if you want tickets for that, if you want to go see Elena, check out the Children's Theater website. That will run through, I believe, June. But we're going to talk to her. We'll post that next week. We talked to her
Now-
before the show started.
The children's theater is actually a lot of fun for adults too. So don't let the
No
word
doubt.
children,
Yeah.
we actually enjoy, Mike and I actually enjoy going to a lot of the shows because
Yeah.
they do great performance. And they're hilarious because they'll add in like little adult humor
Yes.
into the show. So
Sprinkle it
it's
in.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I call it the Pixar
Yeah.
thing, where they put in the little bit of adult humor to keep you engaged,
Yeah.
and there's always that interesting moment where the kids aren't laughing, but all the family.
Yes.
And they did a Snoopy show that we went and saw, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I've also seen The Grinch down there.
Yep.
Been
The
lucky enough
Grinch is
to do that.
hilarious.
Always
Cinderella.
great. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they do some awesome stuff. Couple of more events. We talked about this the very first podcast because they had just announced it. And it is coming up in a month. It is the STMA Hall of Fame and Retiree Inductions.
Yes.
Greg Reno and Dolores Helgeson is
Yes.
the other one. And Greg and Dolores will be honored 4:30 at Middle School West in the cafe there. And then, of course, all the retirees. And so, talk about senioritis. If you're a teacher looking at the end right now,
Oh,
you're
boy.
Oh, yeah.
like- and there's 30 days of school. I believe it's 31 days of school.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
We'll be under 4 calendar weeks
Yeah.
in a couple weeks, in a couple days here. They are looking at the end of a career.
Yeah.
My daughter, she has a cooking class right now. So that's all her classes. I'm like, do you take any real classes right now? So it's like intro to foods, pastries, whatever. It's all cooking. And one of her teachers are retiring. She's like, just do whatever. I think she's over it. I'm like, after teaching for probably 20 plus years, you're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, you can take a couple weeks and coast to the end.
You
Yeah.
can coast
sure.
it in.
Yeah. I suppose, do you make like a deal with your class? Like, okay, nobody get hurt,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll.
I
Don't
think
burn
every
down the
teacher's doing
kitchen.
that right now. Like, love the Nerf wars. Nobody get hurt.
Yes. By the way, I have to tell you, I was walking into the bank yesterday, and there was a Nerf dart in the parking lot.
They're all over town.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Well, they have to have their location on, right? Correct?
Yes,
Like
they
that's
have
how
to
it
get
works,
on
yeah.
Snapchat.
That's
You know,
funny.
The kids who are not on Snap have a distinct advantage, but yeah, it has been an experience. Cam just got out a couple days ago. He went to the gym.
I saw the
Oh,
video.
funny.
Went to the gym, totally forgot that he had it on, and basically came outside and was,
Bombarded, yeah.
Yeah, dead to rights. He was like, oh no.
You know, I haven't seen too much chaos though. I feel like they've kind of honed it in a little bit
Yeah.
and like,
I think the first 2 days were a little bit
Wild.
Chaos?
intense,
yeah.
and a couple of businesses basically said, easy,
Yeah.
and everything's been pretty on the up and up.
Yeah. Well, and I suppose as the attrition of players happens, people getting out, things tend to slow down. It becomes more stealthy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. People know how to play the game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gym, I go to Anytime Fitness here in Albertville, and typically about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, you see the influx of high school students.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of broccly hair.
Yeah,
Coming in the
yeah,
door.
a lot of the salad coming in, a lot of Lululemon, things like that coming in. That has died off in the last
interesting.
2 weeks.
Oh.
Interesting.
Which has been nice for moms and dads who can't get their workout in
Yeah.
tonight. But
They're terrified of getting
Yeah, they
Getting
won't.
caught,
There's kids who will not go out in public, like right now. They're like,
sad.
they sneak around. And they're just like, hey, if that's how you're gonna play the game, that's how you play.
Right.
So,
Funny.
one more event I wanted to get to, Monty Food Truck pop-up. Always kind of a rite of spring. It's one of those things that pops up when, I go to Fleet Farm to get a lot of my plants.
Yep.
I do hit DJ's Ace Hardware here for a few things, but I definitely head up to Fleet Farm for some of the other stuff. And they do a food truck pop-up, and that is Mother's Day weekend. So,
Fun.
Nice.
yeah,
Is that opening fishing too?
always.
Or did they move?
Yeah, we will actually have a soccer tournament that weekend.
Dance competition.
All the moms are thrilled.
Yeah, I'm down at Sioux Falls for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about this last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
It'll be super fun for me to go home, but the moms are.
I was
What?
going to suggest that maybe we get, flowers for the moms and the boys could give them to the
Oh,
moms
cute.
on the sideline.
Kind of like a
That'd be
senior
cute.
day.
Yeah,
kind
A
of
little
thing.
bit,
Yeah.
just I don't think coach is thinking about that, so I'm going to maybe make the suggestion
Yeah.
that we do that.
Yeah, coaches. From having the experience, coaches don't think about
No.
that. They're more like
If
They're
if you're
boys.
scheduling
They
a
don't
tournament
think about
on
it,
Mother's
yeah.
Day weekend, you're not thinking about the flowers.
not thinking about mom.
No. I want to do a whole mom's day out. I'm like, ooh, we can go to this new breakfast place. We can go do this. And then my daughter's like, Mom, we have a dance competition all day. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, no mom's day out.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. It's all fine. It's all fine. It's part of being mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever our kids need.
One of my daughters Ellie was supposed to have a show this weekend, a horse show.
Yeah.
And the participation number is low enough that they said, nah.
Oh.
So people are giving everybody their Easter weekend back. So that's
Nice.
Oh, all right.
So we got out of that one. But we are not getting out of Mother's Day, unfortunately. So my mom will benefit, but
Yes.
the kids' mom will not. So all right. Well, that went fast.
It did.
It
Yeah.
I got a couple ad reads to get through here. We got to talk about Craig Renz, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. I tell you what, 1 in 3 members of the St. Michael Albertville community has gone to Solutions Counseling for their services, and that's like 10,000 men, women, and kids getting help with Solutions, and we think that's awesome. Because your mental health needs should be right up there with your physical health needs. So get those checkups and check-ins. Solutions has 24 professionals to choose from and help you, including individual therapists that can help with depression, anxiety, trauma, marital issues, prom, nerf wars, couples and family counseling, play therapists, even hypnotherapy. Right on Main Avenue in St. Michael's, Solutions can also offer virtual appointments if that's your jam. Learn more from Craig Renz and his awesome team, including Caleb, at getcounseling.org. That's getcounseling.org. You can meet therapists, take a tour, set up your initial appointment. Just see what's right for you. Solutions Counseling, an OG sponsor of North Wright County Today, online and the podcast. Check them out, getcounseling.org. Tax day was yesterday.
It was. No,
Sam,
2 days ago. 2 days ago. We're
2
at
days ago.
17.
Wow,
Yeah.
we are. I lost a day somewhere. Sam, you good?
No. October 15th. I'm reaching for a new goal.
Okay.
October 15th.
Yeah,
All right.
I did just see Linda B. from Peggy Shum's office at the bank lobby this morning. She's coming up for air.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they kind of come in and they're like, and the music from the cartoons are playing?
Yeah.
The morning
Yeah, I
dew
do.
thing.
I drove by the office on Sunday and there were a lot of cars there still on a
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah.
We
Those poor
appreciate
CPAs.
our local accountants. We appreciate Peggy Shum. Peggy Shum's a sponsor of the show, and Peggy has to sort through all my paperwork, so I really appreciate her. Check them out, cpapss.com. Or give them a call if you're running late and you need an extension, 763-497-7817.
File that now.
File that extension now. Hey, they also do your property tax statements and things like that. You compare those year to year. You might be up for a discount, so check that out.
And prepare for next year.
Uh-oh.
What?
Why? What's next year?
No, just always taxes.
Oh,
Just always be.
Always. Just
Yes.
just
Keep
keep
it
filing the work, you know,
Keep
just,
it
yeah, keep stacking it to
The
them.
only way to get out is death. It's the only way out, kids.
Two things in life you have to do, die and pay taxes.
Led Zeppelin said no one's getting out of here alive. So
That's right.
That's the deal. Well, holiday weekend. You guys
Yes.
got big plans? What do you?
Yeah, we're jumping in the car probably 4 o'clock this afternoon. Going to go up to Cloquet to see my wife's folks, and her brothers are actually coming in from town,
Cool.
Chicago and Maryland, respectively, bringing their families. One of which has a brand new baby
Aw.
that my wife will be holding all weekend.
whole
I
time.
wish,
Yeah, right. She'll get that
Yeah.
that fixed, that baby
Yes.
fixed, because her baby's down in Iowa.
Yes, exactly that. And is about 2 months away from being able to legally have a beer. Yeah, it's
Oh,
no
I'm not
longer
ready
a
for
baby.
that.
Yeah.
And we were talking to Lisa's oldest is turning 21 in September, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? And she's like,
Yeah, I know. I don't know if it's a thing as
It's
much
not?
for some
It's
kids. Yeah.
definitely not
We
as
were
big
just-
a thing.
We were just talking about that. I'm like, when I was 21, I went to Vegas. Like, it was like a thing. And now the kids are like,
Yeah.
But they don't party hard like we used to. Like, they don't. These kids are not. They don't have it together like we did.
Kids, that's okay.
It is okay. It is okay. However, they are not Gen Xers, that's for sure.
I turned 21 while living in Japan, and 20 was the age to drink there, so it was kind of a non-event.
A little bit of a
Doesn't matter,
Yeah, it was kind of a
yeah.
non-event.
Funny.
Well, I was the first one of my friends to turn 21. So the night I turned 21, I was actually at the college campus nightclub that served non-alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
And then the next weekend,
Yes.
we did the celebrating. So with the friends of mine who were 21 who could go out. So, but yeah, mine was always a little bit anticlimactic
Yeah.
as well. But the thing about going to North Dakota State, and you probably experienced this, is you could always make that
Drive
3.5 hour drive up to Winnipeg.
Drink at 18.
That's
19.
right.
They changed it to 19.
They
but it
changed
could
it at
be-
19.
Did they?
It
Yep.
could be 18, yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I played a couple rugby tournaments up in Winnipeg, and it's just a little bit different world in Canada where I witnessed a guy get thrown out of the bar, but they allowed him to finish his beer on the curb.
I feel like that's a Wisconsin thing too.
I'm in Canada. Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Can't you drink in Wisconsin too with your parent at 18?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Actually, that is still a thing.
Yeah.
I believe it's been discussed legislatively to get rid of that. But my kids tried to play that to their advantage when we
Travel over to
went
Wisconsin.
to my sister's cabin, is near Rice Lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up in a little town called Birchwood, and one of the servers was like, "Well, do the kids want anything?" And I'm like, "Would you shut up?"
Don't encourage this.
So Cam immediately was like, "Dad."
Yeah. Come on, bro.
You guys have
That's
seen
like-
my son, right? My son is 6'2", he's huge. He's been
Yeah.
a giant since he was like forever young. So we were on a plane ride, and we usually sit 2 and 2. So it's Mike, Chase, me, and whatever. And they're like, sir, do you want a beer or do you want whatever? And I'm like, he's 14. They're like, no. And the poor guy was like, what?
Meanwhile, your kids have probably been on the opposite end.
No,
They're they're incredibly young looking. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even my wife at one point, I think we were 25, and this is back when kind of the jean short bib overall
yeah.
thing was in fashion.
Sure.
We went out to have something to eat, and she was asked if she wanted a kids menu. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Unhappy.
That's actually amazing. Yeah.
And she wears size 5 shoes, so we had to look in the
tiny.
growing girls section. It was a rough day for her.
She's gonna appreciate this podcast.
Yeah, it was a rough day for her. Love you, honey.
Awesome. Well, we will see you guys in a couple weeks. We
sounds
got
good.
some good shows coming up. We're gonna catch up with the men and women of the Wright County Whiskey Club.
Yep.
They're going to
Yes.
be joining us May 8th. So we're going to record that in the evening. We'll have that up for later that weekend. And then I did pencil in Lauren, STMA
Yes.
mom.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to join us later in May, right before Memorial Day weekend.
Cool.
Talk about all the cool things for moms and kids to do this summer.
Oh, that's
Cool.
going to be fun.
So we'll do that. I'm also efforting a couple people. One is Wendy Jorgensen. Most of you guys know Wendy from Ride for Life.
Oh, yeah.
They've been doing that for many, many years. They're back at the, I believe they're back at the 152 Club this
I
year,
think that's right.
and have the most number of recipients that they've ever had.
5.
Oh, that's cool.
I think 5 this year.
5 this year, yep. 4 or 5.
And last year, do you guys know that they raised $100,000?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They have
That's
literally
crazy.
eclipsed $1 million, I believe, or they're nearing $1 million of funds raised over the years that they've done this. So this is, of
That's
course,
incredible.
in memory of Chad Smith, who
Yeah.
was a St. Michael native and resident. And the families that are still here get together every summer and do a bike ride for Chad and for some local families. My family was obviously a beneficiary a few years ago, and my ex-wife's family, I should say, and we were able to make some memories in Disney with that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
we're going to catch up with Wendy and talk about all the good things that they've done, and hopefully do that before the event this year. So, which is always Father's Day weekend, so pencil that one in. Head up to the club and donate to a good cause.
Yeah.
So it's always right after Friendly City Days, so gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, have a good week, everybody. A couple of weeks. Well, you guys have a
Yes.
good couple of weeks. I'll be back next week with Elena, and we'll catch up with her about children's theater and anything else we want to talk about that week, and then get these guys back in a couple weeks. So take care, everybody.
See ya.